Good afternoon, Facebook followers and non-followers, because this is open to public. Pretty shabby day out here. It's like, it says 22, but it actually feels warmer than that today, I gotta say. And it's just, it's a pretty stellar day. Here on the good old GC, there's just very little cloud. Somewhere there on the edge, so we're in probably for a gorgeous sunset, and they're different every day. So, hey Chris, welcome. Titus, welcome buddy. So guys, jumping on for a few minutes. The health tripod, what am I talking about? Well, I love the number 3. Part of the reason is that my memory capacity, and it's so sort of broadened across so many channels that 3 we can remember, and I think there's science behind this as well. I think it was up to 7 things, but 3 was like the most optimum. So I'm sticking with 3. And also, as we bring that into like health and wellness, thank you. As we bring that into health and wellness, we have built a system, or someone built a system, some people, some organizations, whatever, build a system around being very, what they call in the wellness and medical world so we're going past the building, that's why we've got no sun right now, reductionism, trying to reduce everything down to fixing something, and treating symptoms or treating biomarkers, example, cholesterol. It's a biomarker, it's just saying, this is how much cholesterol is in your blood system. That's all it's saying. It's not saying, oh my God, you've got heart disease. Because genetically, it depends a lot also on how you're clearing cholesterol, how you are, how much you're producing. And there is a third one, I think it's to do with endothelial function, right? That's it's like a health word for how healthy your endothelial cells are. They're the cells that are on the pipes, if you will, or let's say your blood vessels, right? And are they, being sort of lacerated by too much sugar and other stuff? And are they repairing well? Are they susceptible to certain things that other humans are not susceptible to? So you've got the pipes, the maintenance of the pipe. You've got stuff. You'll have HDL and LDL, and your LDL is there and it's carrying vital cholesterol. Vital cholesterol. Yes, it's actually a good thing. Like to your brain and where it's required. The HDL comes and sort of clears things, right? So anyway, we're going too deep on that subject, but I just wanted to point out that treating symptoms and biomarkers does not solve the problem. And so what they are is they're sort of like guideposts. They're pointing you. And because they're symptoms, the issue is going to be in higher order. In other words, the cause of these symptoms or these biomarker readings is somewhere else. Now, we've built a system that's awesome at when people are getting sick as to when they're getting symptoms. So we have a fantastic sickness treating machine. Unfortunately, it became a situation of follow the money, and the performance of that machine was measured on how many dollars everybody was making, rather than going, hang on, what was the original intent? Wasn't it to heal people to begin with? Oh yeah, forgot about that bit. Go figure. Anyway, so the smarter way to do this, now we're switching over to the kind of like, we're starting to transition over to the wellness. And yes, that's an industry as well, but I know which one I'd rather be paying for. And it's a lot cheaper, financially and emotionally, let alone everything else. When you're looking at, you can't look at these things in isolation, because the human body is such a complex system. That's why you have to look at it holistically. Now, I'm saying this as a biohacker. right? With a few years under my belt in working on my own health and working it out myself, right? And when I had a wake-up call a number of years ago, fortunately, mine was not symptomatic. It was asymptomatic. In other words, no symptoms, but I went for some tests, just being responsible for my health proactively, and we found some stuff. We found some rust in pipes, and I know after learning where that came from. Part of it's coming from brain, part of it's coming from lifestyle activities. So here comes the health tripod. What I learned was that it was to do with eating, moving, sleeping. Those three key foundation things to begin with. Now, they all exist in the matter world, right? They are three-dimensional. And then I started sourcing, okay, well, we're all kind of different. What is then the ideal eating for me? When should I be eating and what should I be eating? Where should I be eating what, right? It depends on where you are, in fact, around the planet as well. And it also, so location and seasonality. Then moving. So what's the right exercise for me? And when should I be exercising? Yep, what exercises should I be doing? And how often should I be doing those exercises? So I went and learned all about that specific for me. And then sleeping. What seemed to be when, this thing called sleep, because you're feeling tired and you just go and do it. Well, when you're doing it is super important, as is doing it at a consistent time slot. That's best for, would you believe, you. So all the tools exist, and this is what I loved about technology in the first sort of, part of my existence as a human. And that was all about, it was great mental stimulation, left brain, dopamine stuff, very stimulating, keeping me distracted from deeper me. That's another tripod that I'll touch on, but I won't drill into. And with sleep, the quality of sleep as well. Now, the part I love is that we can, I mentioned the word asymptomatic before, we are empowered today to be able to enhance or sort of embrace technology in health tech. So I went from tech and tech for industry to make businesses more efficient and help them make more money, and building partnerships with other IT companies, because I came out of the IT industry, and building these business partnerships and ecosystems, to now doing it specifically working with health tech companies and their products to bring into the program that I have, right? Biotech Exec. And there will be an iteration of that, which is going to be more mainstream in the not so distant future. But bringing technology in, and this was the year that they thought would be the year that it would go mainstream. And health tech, not mainstream, but where it would reach digital health or health tech, whatever you want to call it, would hit an inflection point. And it is. And I can see it because I'm right there. And I just happen to have, and I'm not blowing sunshine up my own backside, it just is from experience. I kind of pick up these trends before they certainly become mainstream. Sometimes at my own risk, and sort of like breaking from the pack to pursue shiny objects, but I love new stuff and what it can do now for quality of life, right? Especially in the area of health technology. So those things are built into the program so that you can track biomarkers, which become the guidepost to say, hey, look, this is kind of out of balance. This is out of kilter. This biomarker here, which is really important for this. We need to, the same as you have the instrument panel on an aircraft, if you want to get sophisticated, or simply your dashboard in the car. Not so different from the dashboard that you have if you're a business person and if you're a manager or a leader within an organization, you're looking at all the metrics and you're making sure is everything functioning well. You can now do that for yourself. You can do that for yourself. In fact, we have the BioHealth dashboard, which is built out of the US. And on there I have the biomarkers that we follow in the program that I have. So that with coaching every week, we have a weekly pit stop, because I'm basically the guy in the pit crew that's monitoring my executives and business owners and leaders in their Formula One race cars, a la their body, their human form, to make sure that that is running well, the same as you would a race car. Interestingly, we seem to treat our cars better than we treat our bodies. We're so choosy about the fuel we stick in our car. I remember my mum, sorry mum, accidentally put a whole bunch of diesel in her car, accidentally. Fortunately didn't start it instead of unleaded premium. Fortunately that got sorted cost effectively and she didn't start the engine. The point is that we're so particular about the fuel we stick in the car, but it's okay to use our own fuel system, well, to use our mouth like a dumpster, rubbish bin, right? Work that out. And some of the fuel we're using is pretty crappy, the fuel that's available on the shelves. Addictive fuel that's been made addictive. Why? Again, because it's business, right? And business comes first. People can make their own choices, and that's right. At the end of the day, it's the choices that we make. And there's a lot of emotional stuff connected. So, the tripod, eating, moving, sleeping, getting that right for you. They are all, you can't take a reductionist approach to each one. You know, I had someone that was looking at my program the other day, and they've decided that I'll go to the gym. Okay, that's one part. Maybe if you're doing it regularly enough and at the right time and doing the right exercises for you, you might start to get that one dialed in, maybe. But what are you going to do with sleeping, and how's that going to kind of connect in, and what are you going to do with your eating? So you've got those three things. They are totally connected. Now, the other part, which I'm not going to go into now, so EMS, eating, moving, sleeping. There we go, right? Then you've got your emotional, mental, and spiritual. And that is the part that becomes the what has been written off in the past as, it's the woo-woo area. Let me tell you, where most of the problems are, or at least half of the problems are today, is sitting in the woo-woo area. Emotional, mental, and spiritual piece. So those also, that's another tripod that you've got to get right to then take the next step. Once you've sorted out the physiological and psychological piece, you're going psychological to, if you will, spiritualogical. And I work with my good friend Adrian Hanks, who specialises in that area on the Corporate Alchemist project, as we're bringing the soul into business, and in fact looking to take business to the next level to be able to make it at a level of sustainable performance for people being in roles that they should be and how they should be working together. And we're doing a lot of stuff right now. This month we're doing a number of FB Lives around IQ, EQ, RQ, and SQ by the end of the month. So that's it. I'm going to leave it there. Just wanted to give a heads up that you can't treat things in isolation, and you should be proactively checking them, not waiting until you have a symptom. Because if you have a symptom with chronic disease, for example, a tumour takes 10 to 12 years to form, then these aren't the sort of symptoms you want. They're symptoms. You know, I remember someone saying, in fact, they were quoting someone else, that, you know, the doctor, I think it was a functional medical doctor. In other words, they take a holistic approach to the system, not just treating a symptom and selling pharma. What did they say? It was, oh, yeah, I'm sick. I've got cancer. To which he replied, my dear, you've been, what was it? No, you've got cancer because you've been sick for like 10 plus years. So we now have the tools and we have a responsibility, if not to yourself, it should be the ultimate one, certainly to those around you and your loved ones, to take responsibility for your own health. And we can actually take that into our own hands today. All right, guys, gonna leave it there. It's somewhat preachy, I know, but it is something I feel strongly about. And, you know, bringing education and awareness around this and also solutions to these issues. If you want to learn some more, I have a group that I'm actually breathing some life back into called heal.me. So if you go on Facebook, so if you go to heal.me at Facebook, knock on the door, then we'll let you in. We have something like about 900 or so people in there right now, members, and we'd love to have you. And we're about to start cranking it up with some more fantastic content specific to the group as well, and engagement and a large community. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next one. Bye.